Hello, I got Triolet or Triolet, Fox Farms, spontaneously fermented wild sour ale. And it's Triolet because it's a blend of 1, 2, and 3-year-old spontaneous ales. So it's basically a Connecticut Geuze. And I kind of did the cork thing already, that's why it looks like this. I wanted to let you hear the pop. Let's see. Actually, not much of a pop. Maybe you didn't, I don't know if you heard that. Maybe I didn't take it out fast enough, I don't know. But this is Fox Farms spontaneous beer sort of series. Where they do these fancy labels. They call them Music Vale compositions because they're on Music Vale Road in Salem, Connecticut. Which gets called that because there used to be a music school there. And all these are kind of like sort of names that are like musical compositions. I've never heard anything called a triolet or triolet. I like to call it a triolet, like a toilet. That's a joke. But let's get to this. I haven't had this one before, any of their blends. I've had a couple of their spontaneous ones. And I thought they weren't too sour. Hopefully it isn't so super sour. But a Geuze, the traditional lambic beer, is a blend of 1, 2, and 3-year-old spontaneous beers, lambic beers, just like so. This one is basically like that, except it can't be really called a lambic beer because it's not from that region of Belgium. I'm trying to stuff the cork back in. It's very soft, squishy cork. There we go. So the carbonation was not crazy. This did come right out of the fridge real cold. But yeah, I don't see a lot of bubbles coming up. Hopefully it's not flat or anything, or somewhat flat. Smells like a Geuze. It's definitely got some acid in there. Oaky. I'm not getting a huge amount of the aged hops. Do they use aged hops here? Yeah, whole leaf aged hops, unmalted wheat. Yeah, they're doing it just like a lambic style beer. I feel like it's not super complex. I don't know. There isn't a huge amount of funk to it. A little bit. An oak. And when did this release? It was bottled 2.5 years ago in 2023. I'm getting some crab apples, which I like. And just like underripe sort of sour fruits. Underripe apricot. That smells pretty nice. It's tart, but it's not like a huge pucker. And it has a little bit of sweetness to it. But yeah, it's not, I wish the carb was a little bit more. I just like that bigger carb. And so the tannins immediately present, dry things out. And maybe there's some hop character a little bit. But in the back end, definitely some acetic, some malt vinegar type stuff going on, which is not my favorite. Yeah, it's kind of big on the malt vinegar note. It's like this sort of kind of nutty, it is malt vinegar if you've had that before. It just has a sort of unique malty, nutty taste to it. It's not flat though. It's got plenty of carb, but for a beer like this, these can often be a little bit more carb. And yeah, as I drink it, it's gonna get real sour, really dry out my throat. This is a bit too sour for me. I was kind of expecting that, but it's a cool beer to try. It actually reminds me a little bit of Driefonteinen. It's a lambic blender Geuze producer from Belgium that, to my taste, it's a little too sour and not funky enough. but it's cool they can produce this. I feel like I might like the Allagash Cool Ship more. That's basically Allagash's version of this. They were the first Americans to make spontaneous beer and make it in the alembic style. And the Cool Ship seems like usually it's less sour and more funky. This is also 6.5, which a lot of Geuzes from Belgium, like Cantillons, is 5%. Excuse me. I think the Allagash one's usually like 6.2. Which I don't know if that tells me that they just use more malts, so they get a higher gravity, or if maybe the Belgian ones are less attenuated. Though these styles tend to be like pretty bone dry, and they kind of need to be so they don't ferment more in the bottle and explode. But Cantillons, I remember that one having a lot of body, surprisingly a lot of body for 5%, and I don't know, this one doesn't have that much. I really drink these beers, but I guess it was to celebrate we just NASA launched a rocket to the moon for the first time in a long time, so that's exciting. It was successful, didn't blow up. So cheers, and it's I mean, you could give this to me and I would think it's a Geuze. It's legit. It's just a little bit more too focused on sort of malt and sour flavors. It's not quite funky and fruity enough for my taste. But well done. For a rating, I don't feel like rating. Bye.